How goes it, my friend? Huh? It's good to see you, man. It's good to hear from you. Thank you very much for being Athletics Without Boundaries subscriber, man. Your viewer, man, your viewership really matters. Your partnership with I really matters, okay? I'll give you that kudos, man. Flowers to you. Welcome aboard. Another day. More blessings. Good day. I got some training sessions for high school coming up, man. We got referees getting ready for high school season, man. It's going to be great. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to many things, man. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? Are you a custodian of the earth, of the Mother Earth? Is groaning in pain, man. Have you ever thought about the earth crying, groaning, lamenting, spewing out venom in the heat? Sometimes we lose concept of or perspective of the earth having some sense of dignity and life, man. Huh? What about that, huh? What about that for intro, man? That's me, man. Sit back, man. Enjoy this. It's another show, another edition. I got a few things I want to just bring to your plate. Hopefully it's empty. Please, my friend, spend time with me, shall we? I listened to Michael Johnson. If you don't know who Michael Johnson is, he's a great entrepreneur. He says he is. I didn't even know he had a master's or a degree from Baylor University in business. Double gold medalist 1996, commentator with BBC in the last few years in championship and Olympics. A driven guy, man. He's driven. I watched the whole interview with Telegraph. It's a London-based newspaper. And he's giving us an insight, or is opening up to the scandal, the controversy around Grand Slam track that he inaugurated, and the catastrophic collapse last year. You remember that? You remember the headliner? I've not been kind with him from the get-go. And because, you're only kind maybe we are kinder when we see success. And I think we all get caught up when there's controversy, scandals. We are like, yeah, go get him, lynch him, crucify Michael Johnson. I listened to the interview at depth. It was a good interview. It's edited, I can tell. There's some places where you want to hear more from Michael Johnson. Then he backs off. And I really don't understand him that much. One thing I've come to realize about Michael Johnson from listening to this interview is that he's a self-driven man, which is good. He has learned some survival mechanisms. And he's a soloist, he's a maverick. And he has messianic view of things, where he's just, I'm going to go get it. And that really gave him success in track. If you remember that 92 Olympics in Barcelona, he was the favorite. Then he had issues with, he talks about food poisoning. He was ranked the best in the world in the 400 and 200. And then, of course, in Atlanta, he's a double gold medalist. And that elevated him to be one of the best we ever seen. And don't forget the golden spikes that I've talked about. I think I've shared with you guys my knowledge of who he is. And so I had him on this interview. And one thing that struck me in this interview is that he's not a team player. He's not a team player. He doesn't obligate. He doesn't he doesn't delegate. He's not a team player. He doesn't have that capacity. He doesn't have the muscles to see others to be able to contribute to his goals. I noticed that very quickly. I talked about trying to be in a team sport in high school or some school when he was, I don't know whether it's college. He trying to play American football, and he could not just see himself in the team sport, because to him, he just saw himself as a winner, which is good. He's as good as it gets, because we can see why he's like successful in the 400, 200 meters, like I say, 96, and who he has become. He's an entrepreneur. He talks about business. I wonder the success of his business too. I don't know that. I don't have the history to understand how successful his business have been, but he's an entrepreneur. And the question for me that begs to be asked here is that solo maverick, self-driven thing driving him to a point whereby you just wonder whether the GST thing that he inaugurated and incubated and tried to see succeed saw him hell-bent in seeing it just succeed. Because even here he's so obsessed. Listen to this interview. He's so obsessed about the fact that he believes he has a successful brand. He has a brand, he has an idea, and it's a bankrupt idea financially. So he believes he has something. I think he's so much caught up in the feedback he got from the athletes, how they saw him as a little demigod who was savings track. And he's so caught up in that mindset. I can hear in his interview over and over again, and he keeps saying, I, Michael Johnson. He's an I guy, all right. But this is where he fails, because when you think about the collapse and the catastrophic capital drought, or that he suffered, and then he had to cancel the last two GST events, is because he's an I guy. To me, it seems as if he never delegated. He never created enough good ecosystem that could feed this brand, or this what he calls successful brand that he has created. So for me, that's my take, that he's self-driven. He has a selfish way of looking at things. He has a tunnel vision of things. It's about Michael Johnson. And that can be a problem if you are trying to build a network. Because in a network, you have to make sure that you delegate the other person and trust that they are going to deliver. Instead of just saying, okay, give me your money, and this is what I want to build. In fact, what troubles me about Michael Johnson is how he was so driven during the season that he sacrificed his own, what do you call it, finances. He maxed out on his credit card, he says. He maxed out in many, he even injected his own capital into seeing the wheel of this brand keep moving. And then, of course, it dried out. It dried out. He went bankrupt. Yeah, you guys have checked how he had to go through the legal path just to be able to he finally declared himself bankrupt, and the GST thing as a whole collapsed. And now he's admitting that he has paid out the athletes $11 million. But I saw something very interesting on the screen that says that, yes, there's $11 million, but there's a bottleneck here. There's a filtering process, escrow. So there's money, but there's a certain criteria, or it has to meet certain criteria for it to be dispersed to the athletes. So yes, he can say all this about 11 million, but the question is, for it to be distributed, what is escrow? I don't know the details there, but there's still question marks, a lot of questions unanswered by Michael Johnson. He seems to be hell-bent in succeeding, whatever that success looks like. To me, like I say, that he's one of those guys that, yes, as great as he was, that greatness can be masking some other things that we don't know. That maybe he wants to be seen as it was Michael Johnson thing. It was the golden boy of '96. I think I've said that many times, and I think this can be a problem for him down the road. And by the way, I was impressed, I was intrigued, I was fascinated by how open he was about, he's a survivor of a stroke that almost took his life. And he talks about that. But to survive, when you survive certain things, it seems as if your mind, you might think you might soften up a little bit, you look at things and maybe broaden your application to certain business ideas, but he's still very constricted. He's very Johnson-like. He's Michael Johnson-driven. You don't hear we. He's not, like I keep saying, he's not a team player to me. I think he wants to be the face. He wants to be the brand. And by the way, I've stepped back here and say this. He might have a great idea. Don't get me wrong. I've said this maybe in one of my episodes. He might have a bright idea. I can say with him, and I can echo, and he might be vindicated on this, that our track and field athletes to this day of 2026 are totally and abysmally being underpaid. To have Josh Kerr break the world record in the mile in London, like he has said himself, and he was only granted a price of $50,000 in this day and age. Hey, my friend, that is I don't know how to say that, man. It's still pathetic. That's the only word I can think of. And Michael Johnson, yes, I agree with that the prices, the money, the struggles of most of the athletes, they have to do 3 jobs or 2 jobs just to make themselves be able to train, unless they are, even when they have sponsors. And many of these athletes have come out talking about this underpayment stuff. And we hear Diamond League, like in Europe, you hear Diamond League, Zurich, London. Diamond with no diamond. It's well labeled, but there's no money for athletes. It's entertainment, yes. Let's talk about London. 70,000 people showed up to watch Josh Kerr break the world record, and they could only pay him 50,000. So yes, I agree with Michael Johnson. The issue for him, is that he has to do better research if he's a businessman. He has to recruit maybe some of the top athletes around the world that have gone through this. I don't know whether he consulted people like Carl Lewis, who has been, to be honest, is the voice of why these athletes are professionals to begin with, or being paid at all. Back in the 90s and the 80s, Carl Lewis, I wonder whether they are even in consultation. Somebody like Usain Bolt, he's a brand. I wonder whether Michael Johnson talks to these people. I think for me, the failure of GST was Jamaica. That opening day, and he admitted here, he himself, Michael Johnson, admitted to the fact that the first day of GST in Kingston, Jamaica, was a disaster. I say that because when you don't have the stars of Jamaica in GST, big names, because there were none of those. Jamaica athletes didn't sign up. And to me, that could have been a flag for Michael Johnson to read, but he was driven, he was hell-bound, he was hell-bent to see this thing succeed. He had overpromised. He should admit to that. Just to say that you are paying this and this and that, you can promise all you want. Everybody can promise, But the problem for him is that there was no capital. He should say that. Because I think you cannot. So for me, it's like this. So let me ask him. So he breaks the world record in Atlanta, and then they tell him he didn't have a gold medal. You know what I'm saying? So athletes performed for GST, but they don't have money until now. And it only happens because Michael Johnson was forced to now, having gone through court, with the legal pressure behind him. So I don't know, man. I think if he wants to really see this thing do well, if he intends to, and he has to really do better work, groundwork, more research, more consultation with athletes, big names around the world. For me, that is struggle. Even for me to even not to have Mondo Duplantis, the interview asked him there, where's Mondo Duplantis field events in your GST? He couldn't answer that. Mondo Duplantis is a brand. Tara Davis Woodhall is a brand. Not to have those two, I think to me that's a red flag right there. He should have seen that. But he's a guy, like I say, he's self-driven. He's not a team player, and it has come back to bite him. Very intriguing interview. I watched the whole thing. I was just trying to figure out, but two things are screaming for me. It's all about Michael Johnson, and he's still hell-bound or hell-bent to see the success of Michael Johnson. Those are two good things, by the way. But you need a lot of people for this thing to work, my friend. Track and field is not something you just get out there in lane 1, lane 2, and just go book it. I think he's still in lane, whatever lane he's on, he doesn't see anybody else. And I think that is his demise, that is his shortcomings to me, that is my observation of him as a person. Never heard of his interview before. It was fascinating. And I'm happy for him that he's still healthy. You know, when you think about pressure and of, you know, people saying this, people saying that, and not being able to clarify it. He does that, but I think there's some things that are not very clear to me. I still think that there was a lot of questions that have gone unanswered in this interview. The interviewer poked some holes on his payment plan. To me, it seems suspect. There's some things that he wasn't very forthcoming. Because maybe he should be more transparent and give us a spreadsheet of how these guys got paid. And that, to me, maybe transparency might help. Because when you are not transparent, there's speculations, man. And Michael Johnson can clarify. It took so long to get to this interview. We are in August? It took so long to really clarify things. And maybe he was in shock. I can understand that. Maybe he was in hiding because he was embarrassed. Maybe he was under pressure. Honestly, people let him down. He should admit to that. But he cannot continue saying, I. People let him down. He should call them out. He should call out these companies, these sponsors that never showed up at the end of the show. We need to know them too, because if they had promised or they had a contract or an agreement, was it verbal? Was it written somewhere? So this was, this Michael Johnson and I don't think I'll back off from the idea that he still has the arrogance of Michael Johnson that I know from 90s. He's self-driven. He's not a team player. He struggles with that a lot. I can hear that. I think he wants to impress these young, underpaid athletes. I get it. But you can only impress them if you have deep pockets. Now he had to sacrifice $2 million, $500,000 maxed out on his credit cards. You can't do that, man. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You stand there with your pants on your ankle. Intriguing interview. Worth watching, man. Check it out. Michael Johnson interview about GST and the scandals and controversy. Let's not talk of controversy for so long. Shall we move on to the European Athletics Championship? Watch a few highlights. Quite impressed with the competition. The Europeans are out to do some great things, man. I watched the 100 meters final. The British, Glave and Hazou. 1-2 there, man. Jacob, the Italian, defending champion, man. 2004 Athens Olympic champion. Couldn't do it, man. Hamstring. He had to pull up, man, and straight up. Hamstring is unforgiving. Man, the British, 10:09, man, for Glave. Glave. Never heard of this guy, man. But he's in Europe, man. The Brit. Visa, man. Visa of Netherlands, man, in the closest 100 hurdles women. They tied for time, man. 12:67 ahead of Poland Pia. That was as close as it gets. I don't know what separated those two ladies in that finish. I couldn't tell. That's why they have technology, man. Visa, man. Visa of Netherlands wins it in 12:67. The Polish could not polish herself to lean. It was a lean. Halas of Hungary, man, in Hammer. I don't know why he must have been taunting his opponents. I don't know what was that all about. I asked something about unsportsmanship. He wasn't he had an Hungarian. He was hungry Hungarian. I don't know what. He had a look on his face that was like, ugh. But man, he went 6:81.84, came back with he was, what is it? What did I say? He was 81.25 And then, what's the name? Hummel of Germany tried to shake him off the podium. And then he came back with the 80, was it 83? I don't know what I'm looking at here. My notes are over. He wins, man. He wins the hammer. And the Hungarian house, I can't say his name, man. Can I? He's Hungarian. He was angry. He could have been hungry too, because he's a big boy. That was worth it. Hammer is becoming very interesting. Not is becoming. I think it's a very competitive event, because I watched even the U20 Chen of China. If you cannot spin, I don't know how many spins they take. Some take 3, some take less. But this guy was, he looked like some clay on the circle, man. And the delivery was massive. There you have it. And then I was impressed by the 5,000 meters. Very tactical as it was with the winner from the Norwegian Terminator Viking dude coming back, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. The women did the same thing, very tactical, pedestrian pace in the beginning. Everybody was there, 10 athletes who are doing it with about maybe 3 laps to go. With that 800 meters, there were still 10 of them. You couldn't separate the women. And then the defending champion, Nadia Patocleti of Italy, just hang around. And the ladies forgot she's a defending champion. How do you hang around defending champion? Surge out, man. Put some pace on this thing. They try, somebody, Costa, which country was he? I don't know. Costa from some European country, of course. She stepped up. She tried to get those long legs going. They were not as efficient, or they were not moving as fast, because the 10 athletes, they dwindled down to 6 in the penultimate lap. They went for the bell, and they were all there. Garcia of Spain, you had Notalo of Britain trying to go on the outside. Then you have Maiori of Italy, another Italian in the mix, who ends up getting a bronze, because it came down to one champion, man. Defending champions know how to defend their territory, man. Nadia Patocleti, man. Man, she just shifted, man, and she was a gunner. She was a true Roman empress. She went for the throat, and she found the knife, and she went gladiator fire, golden girl, man, Nadia. The time was 15 minutes. That's how slow. 59 the last 400 meters in the to finish that. Nadia, man, Italian lady indeed. She does a very interesting season. Huh? If you remember during the Roman or the Rome Diamond League, man, somebody was talking about suffering from something. She was suffering from something, all right? I don't remember her finishing that race. But here she wins, man. European champion, man, Nadia Patocleti of Italo. Italia, Serie A, man. Serie A is about to kick off. There you have it, boys and girls. And then the Greek god of long jump, man. The Greek god, Toglou, 8:44 after 8:27, got challenged by Hehama of Germany with an 8:29 to get a silver, man. 8:44, man. The god of long jump. Okay, so I'll finish by talking about my favorite event, the 800 meters. The protagonists were obvious candidates. One of these ladies is going to win the European Championship. I don't know when the final is, maybe Friday or Thursday. I'll check it out. I watched Keely-Audrey-Bol at 56 the fast lap. There was one thing about Kelly that I've noticed. I think there's always mental stress, or that's how she runs. She runs with her emotions everywhere. You can see on her face, on her shoulders, everywhere. Keely-Audrey-Bol runs naked, if I may use that one lightly. She runs with everything exposed. Her emotions are everywhere. Stress. I don't know what it is, but you can tell. She wins her heat. She's okay. She's in the final. Fine. Bam. So Kelly's in the final, my friend. The Brit. I won't call her queen yet. You Londoners can call her queen. And then Femke Broders-Bol is here to stay. Okay, she's shifted, she decamped from the 400 hurdles. She's arrived for the 800 meters. She has this deceptive non-shoulder, non-arm movement. The commentators were like, this is what you call optic illusions. There's no movement. She's just like, pap, 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 ta-da-da, ta-da-da. She goes to like a 59, and everybody is like, Femke Bol is like, I got this. She's just like, no arm movement. That is how she is, but she's a strong physical presence. She wins a heat. Baya, she's in the final. So you got 2 already, huh? Until you forgot the world lead in the 800 meters. The world leader in the 800 meters. 153.8, what? 3, yeah? The Swiss, Audrey-Bol. Audrey-Bol, you have to watch her and step back and say, I think she's special for now. Because when you see an athlete come off the final turn and look around, that's confidence. When you see somebody doing that and checking her competition and she wins a heat, she's in the final. So we have 3 amigas in the 800 meters final. You must be kidding me. It's a must-watch final. It's a must-watch. Do you want me to pick the winner? I'm not doing it yet. That is for the next edition of Athletics Without Boundaries. We got 3 amigas. Femke Broders-Bol, you know where she's from? Netherlands. Keely-Audrey-Bol, you know where she's from? Birmingham Palace. So things are happening on her backyard. And then we got the Swiss Audrey-Bol. Zurich. My friend, can't wait to watch that. That is quite a delightful 800 meters coming up. Cheesy, all that stuff. Cheesy, all that stuff. Can't wait. It's me, my friend, just getting started. European Athletics Championship happening in Birmingham Palace in the backyard. It's not in the palace. It's a stadium. They call it Alexandria Stadium. Who cares? Things are happening, my friend. What about talking to you later, man? Because that's what I do. My friend, let's care for the earth. It's groaning in pain, man. Have you experienced that? Are you seeing the earth is in pain? Have you looked around lately? We are in pain too, all of us, because we are part of this symbiotic existence. Talk to you later, my friend. Ciao.